Okay, we're good. My computer loves to do weird things for me. So I really can't trust it with anything. And oh boy, this is already running bad. Oh, it's already running bad. I mean, my computer has been behaving extra interesting today, so I don't have the utmost confidence doing this. So this is going to comprise everything that I do today. Just the Frieza system and then blowing it to shreds. But before we blow it to shreds, we got to appreciate it because I made it and this is my stream, so you must all obey my rules. That's how it works. Unfortunately, we also have to obey my computer's rules, which suck. Oh my god, please just load. Things I have to deal with on a daily basis. For the first time in ages, my router actually went out for a couple minutes earlier today. I think it's because Southern California is finally done getting dunked on by rain. So, oh gosh. Oh right, the reason there's those giant white torii is that I have like asteroid belts of like 200-kilometer moons, and all of their orbits are being displayed at once. So if we just get rid of those, then yeah, it's not quite as egregious. Okay, so there's my description. Dragonball nerd here. King Cold and Sons are a ternary star system. Each star has their own planetary goons. Cold and Frieza have an unnamed asteroid belt of minions. And Cooler only has the major planets. I feel is most faithful to Dragon Ball lore. Not that I really expect a whole lot of people in the universe Sandbox community to care one way or the other about Dragon Ball lore. Since these two things should have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Alright, so one caveat of my system is that I put water on a lot of the planets, and it would seem that I put too much water on a few of them, like this one. Because I just froze the whole thing over. Yeah, this planet has a temperature of negative 47.4 Celsius, and oh my god, run! I think I might have to just, like, leave this completely paused. Because otherwise this thing's just gonna run a friggin' slideshow. And I could try getting rid of it. There's one tiny window of things that don't need to be open right now that I can close. And that won't even let itself close, because, you know, my computer is amazing, and I love it. Well, no one's here, so I'm not delaying any humans, at least. I'm just delaying myself. I'm a human. Shoot. I am delaying a human. But actually, before I show you the planets, I should probably show you the stars. Because you'll notice a nice soft purple glow on the backside of Naze. And there will be soft purple glows coming from different directions as well. So one thing that's kind of stupid about this is that, like, Cooler is not as powerful of a star as King Cold. So, for some reason, this thing wants to illuminate Cooler's planets in the direction of King Cold, just because he's slightly more powerful than Cooler. But yeah, I want to show you the stars, first of all. So Cooler here. Yeah, you can change the colors of stars, and that's one of the things that was actually touted in the update that came with it. The appearance update allows you to actually color stars, and one of the things that they said was, hey, you want to make a purple star? Go for it. I'm trying to remember whether or not that's the thing that inspired me to do this in the first place. I guess we could try showing it with motion. But not a whole lot. Oh my god. Oh, even closing that window did absolutely nothing. It's just such a slideshow right now. Like, my computer's worse than usual today, so I don't know, I probably should have restarted it. Yeah, so that's cooler. Frieza is the one that looks most like an actual star would. Like, it's just white, basically. With a slight hint of... Actually, it's a little ruddy. Why did I put that there? Yeah, Frieza basically is a semi-realistic white star. Of course, all of the Frieza's family are basically white and purple. Those are the main colors here. King Cold, I made a little bit more luminous purple, because, you know, he's the king. Even though, as far as, like, fighting powers that we see in this show, he's the weakest of the three, but, I made him slightly the largest of the 3 stars. So yeah, he's got a mass of exactly 1 sun, radius of about a sun. Surface temperature is actually pretty similar. A little bit stronger in terms of the luminosity compared with the sun. And it's quite a bit older than the sun. I don't remember if I actually did anything with the age. Let's go with the Frieza real quick. Compare that. So yeah, Frieza is the weakest of the 3, being the youngest son, but not weak by too much. Let's change the unit here. Yeah, luminosity of 0.668 times the sun. So luminosity is only about, actually pretty much exactly 1/2 as much as his father, which is still pretty strong. Because these are all fairly close in power level. Also, the mass is fairly close to the sun as well. And then there's Cooler. Oh, never mind, actually. Cooler's slightly weaker. Actually, Cooler's significantly weaker. I don't really know why, because, like, it's... I don't know, maybe I probably could have done this a different way. But I feel like lower numbers would go with the color that I set out for Cooler. A little bit, a slightly dimmer purple. Anyway, onto the planets, because, you know, I'm an amateur geologist, so of course I want to look at the planets. So yeah, this planet obviously has way too much water on it. It's totally frozen over. So yeah, this one is 1.11 AU away, so it's on the very outermost tip of the habitable zone. Wait, actually I can show you that. Because this game has habitable zones. Yeah, see? It's on the outermost tip of the habitable zone, so like right about where Mars would be around the sun. It's at 1.1 AU because Cooler is weaker than the sun, so, you know, the habitable zone extends a little bit further. 2.58 day rotation, which you're not going to see because it's just because my computer just cannot render anything right now. Actually has a pretty strong Roche lobe, over 1 million kilometers. But it is relatively isolated compared to the other 2 planets. Well, not too isolated. So yeah, that shouldn't be enough to freeze the whole planet over, so I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's the fact that, like, there's the elevation has very little variance. Okay, so the surface gravity is very similar to Earth, 9.12 meters per second squared. Surface temperature of negative 47.4 isn't too bad. And it has an Earth similarity of 82.5%, but no life. For one thing, it doesn't have a magnetosphere, and secondly, I think I didn't give it an atmosphere either. No, I did actually. In fact, it's thicker than the Earth, so I don't know why it doesn't say there's life on it. I guess because there's no liquid water. Yeah, I guess that'd have to be it, because water doesn't exist in liquid form across anywhere on the planet, so it's all frozen. Like, it's close to habitable. It's similar to the Earth, but it's not quite there. But yeah, one great thing about the Appearance tab, though, is we can see what this planet's actually supposed to look like. If we click Show Surface Materials and toggle it off, those are the colors of the actual planet if it wasn't for all the water being on the surface. And of course, I color-coded all the planets as best I could with the characters that they're representing. I don't feel like explaining who these guys are, because, like, I kind of prioritize the universe Sandbox over actually blathering on about Dragonball. I mean, I don't think anyone's here for Dragonball, even though I did put Frieza in the title. So pretty self-explanatory with this planet. Dure over here is the innermost planet. You'll notice that I was actually pretty generous with this system, and I made sure to put a lot of the planets in pretty habitable spots. Right, so this planet's kind of hot. Average surface temperature is 83.8 degrees, so a little bit much for a human, but they could probably live decent lives at the poles. And this planet is not covered completely, at least, by water. And even if it were, it's not liquid. I mean, it is liquid. It's not frozen. It's very hot liquid, but I'd say that's a pretty good-looking planet, actually. So yeah, this one is orbiting 54.9 million kilometers from the star. Its year is only 95 days long, but it's a pretty good-looking world here. 1.45 times the day length of Earth, but it's so much closer to the star that it has a much smaller Roche lobe. That, and also, I gave this planet a moon, so actually let's check out the moon real quick, which has its own Roche lobe of 10,000. So yeah, it's called Edinburgh, so I might as well just explain flat out. Dore, the character, has a Scottish accent, so I just went with Edinburgh. And you'll see the same thing with Salza coming up. Yeah, this one is 1,800 kilometers across. Nice round object, but no atmosphere, so no life. But very good temperature, though. 33 degrees. 1.04 meters per second squared. So about... like 10.2% the gravity of Earth. It'd be kind of fun to hop around there, you know, if there was an atmosphere. I mean, I'm not gonna Deus Ex Machina every single world in this system and have it magically all be habitable. No. I mean, we gotta keep it within reason here. Or at least I feel like I have to. So I believe I made this world tidally locked. It should be, at least. So it has an orbit period of 9.87 days. Oh, I didn't tidally lock it. Shoot. Well, it is now. So you have a tidally lock button to essentially make the moon and planet system behave like the Earth and the moon, where it presents one face toward the planet at all times. There's a leading hemisphere and there's a trailing hemisphere. One is always looking toward the planet, one is always facing away from the planet. And for this planet to be only 256,000 kilometers away from Dore, it has to be tidally locked, because that's a whole lot closer than the moon is to Earth, and the moon is tidally locked. Like, generally, if the orbital period is, like, less than 5 months, it's pretty fair to assume that the day is that the day is the same, and it's a tidally locked system. Although Jupiter is actually a very complicated system between Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, because they're all big. They're all big planets, and they all have gravitational influence on each other as well as Jupiter. But I'm not going to get into that right now. Yeah. I don't really need to do anything with the appearance because there's no atmosphere. And there's also no water. But still 57.7% Earth similarity somehow. I don't know why. It's always been kind of a weird system though. Yeah, no atmosphere. And okay. Let's go back to Dore. There it is. All right, I'm genuinely proud of the way some of these planets look. I could have tidally locked this planet, honestly, with cooler. With it being... Oh, shoot. I gotta turn the volume down on that. No, I don't. I'm not going to turn the volume down on that. What's up, Subsonic? Okay. Yeah, I could have actually tidally locked this planet because it orbits... Actually, it orbits a little bit further out than Mercury does. Mercury has a specific case it would tidally lock with a 3:2 ratio between its day and its year. Yeah, so... Okay, yeah, this planet has more water than Naze, and yet it doesn't cover all its surface. So, I don't know. I think it was because Naze had a lot less variation with its topography. Yes, there's actually a topographic variance setting in this game. They thought of a lot of stuff here, and as a geologist, of course... Oh, shoot, we got Zurich and Louis. Good to see all of you. Okay, yeah, so this one's a bit hot, 83.8 degrees, but if you live near the poles, you might get along pretty well. We got 80.1% Earth similarity.
I can't believe it. You're incredible.
So you like this planet too, huh? With a 12.6% chance at life. Check out the surface. And sure enough, near the poles, you get much nicer temperatures that are a little bit above freezing. So at no point is water a solid on this planet. It's always a liquid. Yeah, you're gonna want to live in the pretty high northern or southern latitudes if you want to actually have a good time on this planet. But I'm sure there's some extremophiles that are all over this place. It also doesn't have a huge atmosphere, only 6.89 kilopascals for the surface pressure, so that hinders the planet a little bit. Oh, where was it? Oh yeah, elevation span. That's the thing. So this one's a 21.0 kilometers. So like that's the difference in topography from the highest point to the lowest point on the planet. I need to compare that with Naze real quick. Because that's probably what went wrong there. Where is it? It should be in the ecliptic plane. There it is. No, it's the same. Okay, that's weird. I don't know. Anyway, back to this planet. Just real quick, if you want to get rid of all that stuff, these would be the colors you would see without the atmosphere and the water. Whoa, that's awfully bright. Use the upper right for reference. Yeah, those are the actual colors of the bedrock. Alright, so that's Dory. Now we're gonna head over to the gas giant Salza, who of course has a strong French accent. So the moon I've given for this one is... Oops. Versailles. And apparently I've hacked something up because it is ejecting quite a bit of mass. Oh, that looks so cool. Directly toward and away from Cooler, I might add. So yeah, this is the one that's in the green part of the habitable zone. Like, it's right in the middle of the habitable zone. So, like, this would be a great place to look if it wasn't spewing matter all over the place. Dory had a 14.5 meter per second square gravitation, too, so that might have been a little bit awkward for you to get used to. Alright, anyway. Oh, shoot. Okay, I forgot to tidally lock this one, too. I might need to, like, save and update the system so the moons are properly tidally locked. Because, yeah, this one needs to be tidally locked. It wouldn't make sense for it not to be. Because it's slightly further out than the moon is to Earth, but the thing is, Versailles is orbiting a gas giant, so it has a much stronger gravitational influence, meaning it speeds things up a little bit and has much stronger tidal interactions with its satellites. So there should be a locking. So it's a pretty interesting looking world, although a bit obscured by a bunch of stuff. The Cooler in the show just had these three guys helping him, but I gave them moons anyway because the system would be a little bit too plain without them, I think. Alright, so we have 71.8% Earth similarity to this, with a little bit of life likelihood. No magnetosphere, though. Not impossible for a moon to have a magnetosphere, of course, because Ganymede does. All right, so we come just short of water becoming a liquid here. It's all solid here. It's just short. All right, so it seems like 21.0 kilometers for the elevation span is just the default. But this one actually has a better atmosphere than Dure back there, so that's why we see a few more clouds going around. Like that's pretty close to humanly breathable. Right, and without everything, it would look like this. Oh gosh. That would be a rendering error. Again, use the upper right for better reference. Those are the bedrock colors. No wonder you can't see anything on this planet. It's because it's not even being rendered properly. Right now, Salza, of course, being the right-hand man of Cooler, is the gas giant of the system. And it has really weird shading, probably due to the fact that, again, this is a triple star system. So, like, all the really powerful and important servants become gas giants in these systems. This one orbits 80.8 million kilometers out, which is about fair for Cooler. I mean, I just told you that it's right in the middle of the habitable zone. Okay, the rotation shouldn't be that slow. At least most gas planet, like all the gas planets in our solar system, rotate a lot faster than Earth does. I don't know, but I guess I'll just keep it. I'm more concerned about the title locking going on. So yeah, by the way, humans who are with me, so you know, my computer's kind of being extra bad today, so that's why none of the things are moving. Because they move... Well, just watch. Want to see Versailles orbiting Sauza? That's seriously the frame rate that we're having right now. And I've closed out everything else that I don't need. We're going at like 1 frame per second. It should be noted that the Roche lobe radius is very inaccurate, and the only reason why it's so small is because I already gave it a moon. And a pretty substantial moon at that, so. Its actual Roche lobe was more along the lines of 2.5 million kilometers. Yeah, because it's a gas planet, it has a much higher proportion of water within the system. But of course, it's behind a massive layer of hydrogen. And then, of course, further in than that would be the silicates and the iron, because that's how density works. Louis going for 19. This planet is 27.3 times the mass of the Earth, with a density a little bit greater than water. One thing that I don't like about this game is that, like, the default density for a random gas planet is, like, 0.2 grams per cubic centimeter, which is quite silly. Because the least dense planet in our solar system is Saturn, and it still has a density of, like, 0.92 or something like that. Like, it's not that much less dense than water. Certainly not 5 times less dense. Actually, nah. I was gonna play with you, but then I realized I won the first one, so I'm just gonna take it. And also, gas giants are really, really good at not losing mass. It's only lost 53.6 grams over 132 days here. All right, anyway, so 54.3% Earth similarity despite being a gas planet, and a non-zero life likelihood. Look at that. I don't know what kind of life would be here, but oh well. So yeah, very large magnetic field, as you would expect from a gas giant. How large? That large. Big magnetosphere. Of course, they gave the stars magnetospheres too. Alright, so that's different. That's a different temperature map. Not sure what caused it, but so we got some more differentiation at least. That's cool. Basically, like the oh wow, the green layer is not bad either. So like basically everywhere in green and yellow would be really, really nice conditions. You know, if there were solid ground, which there's not. Has an atmosphere of 110 times the Earth, although it's kind of a moot point for planets that are entirely gas anyway. And there's no way to, like, disable any systems because it's a gas planet, so, yeah. Okay, so that's cooler. Now we're going to move on to the King Cold system. Oh, wait, actually, first of all, I should probably show off the magnetospheres of the stars, like I mentioned. Oops. Oh, wait, there's no setting for that. There's no show magnetosphere for stars. Alright, whatever. Okay, so King Cold here has this whole system of asteroids that serve as just some, you know, random cannon fodder minion type people. They all say moon because they're just all mini moons. They're all basically clones of each other. You've actually seen this kind of thing before when I did the Hell Zone grenade on Venus. Yeah, this is like this. I'm just going to show you this one moon, which will stand for all of them. And oh my god, the lighting is so good. Oh, the lighting makes it so pretty. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Good job, Subsonic. All right, so it's only 100. It's only 218 kilometers across. That says radius, so diameter is twice that, of course. And it should have the exact same composition as the moon. Just all you really need to know is the size, because other than that, it's just the moon, but it's way smaller, and there's a bunch of clones of them. So 218 kilometers across. And the lighting is so good. Okay, so back to the main system then. So this one I actually have. No, I actually have a planet orbiting outside even the most optimistic of habitable zones. So that's something. And I based most of this off of the Bardock movie. Because like we see King Cole with like a bunch of just nameless goons. Like post Frieza saga, but none of them have any names. So if I'm gonna attach names to, so like all those guys are represented by those moons, and then the planets are from the Bardock saga. I don't know, Subsonic. Stuff happens. So this planet, I think, that has no atmosphere, so it has nothing to hide, and also no water. Yeah. Wait, this planet actually has moons. Like, it's far enough out. It's far enough out from the star so that it has a pretty good Roche lobe. Although this number is going to be inaccurate because it already has two. Yeah, like it already has two moons, which are very small. Like, that was already a fairly small planet. So these are all pretty small moons as well. Although this one actually has quite the interesting topography. This one is 710 kilometers across, and really no 710 kilometer moon should look like this. Well, I shouldn't say that, because Enceladus is even smaller than that, and it looks amazing. Though not necessarily green, but the reason why it looks green is because I told it to look green. Because that's what the appearance tab is for. So, yeah, this one has a surface gravity of only 0.388 meters per second squared, which is quite small. As in, like, about a third the surface gravity of Pluto. It is tidally locked, though. So I got that right. Mostly silicate with a little bit of iron in there. No water. No hydrogen, because, I mean, it's way too small for that. Surface temperature of negative 147 degrees, which is about right for being this far out. Well, actually, there's the temperature that it should be, technically. The equilibrium temperature is negative 121, so that's what it should be, but I kind of arbitrarily selected 147. Just because if I didn't arbitrarily select it, it defaults to like practically absolute zero, which I hate. So in order to make it not be absolute zero, I assigned it a temperature myself. I got somewhere in the ballpark at least. No atmosphere. It's too small. Well, not necessarily, because again, Enceladus kind of manufactures its own atmosphere through its geysers. Like, nothing is impossible, but like, it's very difficult for a world this small to actually maintain an atmosphere. Alright, Alright, so I have no idea how to pronounce this character, but that's about what he would look like if he were a planet. Alright, so this one's a little bit bigger, with 932 kilometer diameter, and a little bit warmer. I think I made this one warmer because he's closer to Mango, the main planet here. Yeah. If you're a moon and you're closer to the main planet, then there's more tidal heating going on, so you expect it to be a little warmer, which is what you see with the moons of Jupiter. But not so much with the moons of Saturn. But you definitely see it with Jupiter. Okay, so this one's got almost respectable surface gravity. It's like, you wouldn't be necessarily floating, but it'd take a while to come to the ground. Alright, so this one, again, with no water, but it's got more iron, so it's a little bit denser. And 33.8% similarity. Basically the same temperature map, is just kind of default. If you really want to mess with the temperature map, you would use lasers and asteroids, which I hope I get to use, because holy crap, is my computer running badly. And no, I've tested it. If I remove the music, that does nothing. That doesn't improve anything. I already have the music a lot quieter than it normally is anyway. Alright, so appearance shouldn't change, because it doesn't have any materials that would change its appearance. Alright, so on to Planet Mango, which happens to be right in front of King Cold, so we're experiencing a solar eclipse from the perspective of this unpronounceable moon anyway. Alright. So, again, pretty self-explanatory. I could have put water for this planet, but it just kind of chose not to. I mean, water doesn't really discriminate. Water's pretty common throughout the cosmos. It's just uncommon to find it in liquid form. Because in reality, if you want liquid water, you also need atmosphere. So, like, you'll see in this game that that a planet without atmosphere will still retain liquid water, but no. You need an atmosphere to actually have liquid water. If you don't have any atmosphere, it's impossible to get water to be a liquid, because you have no pressure. You have no pressure, so water just straight sublimates once it gets to 0 degrees. Like, gravity is not the same as pressure. You need an atmosphere to actually have pressure effects. Lost the train of thought for really this anyway. Oh wow, did I nail this? So this at negative 122 degrees? And the equilibrium temperature was negative 121? Oh, I actually gave this planet a little bit of hydrogen just for the heck of it. But, yeah, it's not affecting a whole lot. Okay, no problem, Bluey. I'm actually on spring break, and yes, they're still letting us have a spring break despite despite taking off a whole week because of the coronavirus. And so this one only has a 44.5% similarity, maybe because I put too much hydrogen there, I don't know. It also has a lot of iron. Okay, that's a hacked up temperature map, but oh well. And yeah, it's right by the where's the equilibrium? There it is. Equilibrium temperature is negative 105 actually, so it's a little bit warmer. Than the moons were supposed to be. Anyway, so this one actually does have a little bit of an atmosphere, but not a whole lot. Only 15.1 kilopascals of pressure at the surface compared to 101.3 kilopascals for the Earth. But it does have an 11.3% greenhouse effect. I mean, 11.3 degree greenhouse effect. So I think if we turn this off, it will look basically the same. Yeah, pretty much. Alright, so that's that planet. Mango. Oh, cool. Well, the moon's right there. Alright, so Kanasa. Is the planet that Bardock and his troop were in the middle of invading when the Frieza betrayed everyone. Okay, so this planet is about half the size of the Earth and is a little bit more on the cold side with an average temperature of negative 48.5. It's 2.16 AU from King Cold, which is a little bit stronger than the sun, but like not strong enough to, you know, make 2.16 AU behave like the Earth. Oh wait, do I have a moon here? I do not have a moon here. Not that I actually wanted to. Some big planets can be moonless, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Venus... That's not quite the same, though. Yeah, it has a Roche lobe of over 1 million kilometers, so you can put a moon in a stable orbit 1 million kilometers away from it. And it wouldn't fly away. So we have a little bit of water, a little bit of hydrogen. I don't know why I put hydrogen on them, but I don't know, it just felt kind of fun. So 74.4% Earth similarity, but no chance at life apparently. Did I put atmosphere on this? Probably should, because like it's an actual inhabited planet within the Dragon Ball universe. I did not put an atmosphere on this planet. What is wrong with me? Why did I not put an atmosphere? Okay. Yeah, I kind of can't do that because this is an actual inhabited planet in the Dragon Ball universe, so yeah, I'm gonna give it fairly similar to Earth atmosphere. God, look at that freaking frame rate. It sucks though because like there's a planet coming up later that I really want you to see the motion of the satellites, but it's just not going to show up today because my computer's extra bad. All right, adding that kind of atmosphere should make it a little bit more lifelike. Yeah, there we go. That's more like it. 46.6% life likelihood. It should be, oh gosh. Oh wait, yeah, this planet I just I didn't actually do anything with. I just left completely alone with the default. Because I don't think we actually see the way the planet looks. We might, I don't know. But, like, it's not a character. Like, if it's a character, I'll color it the way the character should look, but this one's actually not a character. So, yeah, this planet should be pretty livable. Which is good, because it is livable. Alright, next. I really can't stress enough how much I love the afterglow of all these purple stars. I shouldn't love that because it's unrealistic, but heck it, it's cool looking. And we're talking about recreating Dragon Ball characters here, so heck realism. We're talking about Dragon Ball, we don't need realism. Alright, so this planet's somewhat on the inner edge of the habitable zone, but it's doing really well for itself. With an average temperature of 41 degrees, which is Pretty bad, actually, but like, I think humans could adapt to that kind of heat. This planet's actually a super Earth, again with no moons. The Roche low of 793,000. It's a bigger planet than the one we were just at, but it's also a lot further away. I mean, but it's also a lot closer to the star. And if you're closer to the star, it's harder to keep a moon for yourself. That's why Neptune has a couple of satellites that orbit over 45 million kilometers away, and the best Jupiter can manage is like 24, 26 million, because Jupiter's a lot closer to the sun. So, as strong as Jupiter's gravity is, you know, the sun is always going to be there to kind of take away some of its luster. When you're as far out as Neptune, you don't really have that problem. This planet also has a good number of water on it. And I think this is actually a very similar planet in terms of the design as the one we were just at, so that's kind of laziness on my part. But you'll notice this is actually even a better place to live. It's got a magnetosphere, first of all. That's always nice. See? Magnetosphere. So King Cold's powerful solar wind will affect it less. We have a 91.1% Earth similarity and a 74.3% life likelihood. In fact, I wonder if we can actually see some night lights of civilization. Because I actually had that going for me on another planet. We'll see later. Oh, okay. Not this time. But it's all basically the same temperature. I think it's blanketed by a pretty good atmosphere. Oh yeah, it's atmosphere slightly greater than the Earth, which is actually pretty nice. 30.2 degree greenhouse effect. So we have an effective temperature of 21.6 and an equilibrium of 51.8. And the temperature we actually do have is kind of in the middle of that, so that's nice. So yeah, I think out of all the planets, this one wound up being the best place to live. We're still gonna blow it up though. Maybe. If my computer will let me. Okay, yeah, this is basically the same planet if we turn off the materials. So yeah, that's kind of my bad. I didn't really change anything about them. They're practically copies of each other, but Acai is slightly better in terms of being a habitable planet. Alright, so the biggest one we have here is actually Chilled, which is the ancestor to the King Cold dynasty, if we're to believe the silly, like, Bardock 2 film where instead of being killed by the Frieza, he travels back in time, which is ridiculous, even by Dragonball standards. And sure enough, these satellites are the names of some of its servants. This one's pretty interesting, actually. Pretty good size, about the size of... Well, it's a little bit bigger than the moon in Io, but it's a little bit smaller than Callisto. And it's blowing off some more steam, so that's great. But it has an average surface temperature of negative 9.63, which is pretty much ideal. That's exactly where you want your planet to be in terms of average temperature. Except the only problem with that would be if it's all the same temperature, then, and it is, then that's a slight missed opportunity in terms of life probability. However, if the atmosphere is thick enough, then the water could still be liquid, just really, really cold. So you'll notice that this one orbits chilled at 2.32 million kilometers, so chilled does have a nice distant Rochlo here that's being used. And this moon here is not tidally locked, and I don't want it to be tidally locked because it orbits pretty far out. Anywho. So yeah, I got some water there. No hydrogen, but some good water. Earth similarity of 69.9%, life likelihood of 2.16. So, not a terrific place to live, but could do worse. And the atmosphere we have here is... Oh, that's why. That's why it's not the greatest place to live, because the atmosphere is barely there, but it's something. Oh, we got boss. You can play boss now if you want. I think this one calls for a turn everything else off thing. Yeah. That's what it would look like without the water and the atmosphere. And of course it's still blowing out steam. I don't know why it does that. Like it doesn't make any sense because it's cold. So I mean that's not water being vaporized. It could be the hydrogen being vaporized, but I don't know. Oh shoot, where are we going? Where is the alert? Oh, Telna. Okay. Thank you, Telna. So I think we're done with this moon. I guess we'll move on to Papaya. Because yeah, apparently the Frieza's tribe, the Frieza and his tribe like going by fruit names in the old days. Which is kind of ironic because they wound up hating the Saiyans who went by vegetable names. And by ironic, I mean just flat out silly and just one more ridiculous thing about Dragon Ball to add to the list. I mean, I like Dragon Ball, but you can't watch Dragon Ball and not realize how stupid it is sometimes. So here we have a moon with 2.80 meters per second squared gravity, so right up there with Mercury or so. And it's about the size of Mercury, too. A little smaller than Mercury. Has an orbital period of 4.28 or 4.26. I did tidally lock this one. This one's a lot closer. Hey, Telna. And once again, I will tell you that I would love to show you these planets in motion, but my computer is even crappier than usual. So I'm gonna save all the movement for when I blow these things up. If I get to blow these things up. So I gave it a little water and a little hydrogen. Except this one's not spewing out all the hydrogen into space, so I don't know. And so how livable is this one? Oh, actually, it's not. It's fairly similar to the Earth at 72.2, but we're not getting any life. Those numbers are actually very similar to Mars. In both the similarity and the life likelihood. Alright, so it's basically all the same temperature. And it's hot and uncomfortable, but not unlivable for a human. Just you wouldn't really want to at that temperature. From 41 to 46 degrees. Let's just say you won't be wearing suits and tie very often. But the problem is there's hardly any atmosphere, which is weird because it looks like from the outside that there's a pretty robust atmosphere here, but it's obviously not. The surface pressure is 9.04 millibars. Or 904 Pascal, I think. Or 9,004 Pascals. Yeah, 904 Pascals. So, very, very tenuous atmosphere. So that's why you can't live there. That's why you can't have nice things. Alright, so this is what the planet would look like without all the extra stuff. There's all kinds of rendering bugs that happen within the main field of view, so I'm just gonna keep rotating the icon in the upper right for you. Oh, hello, sun. Yeah, we have the sun back. It's been a while, but after what has to be the wettest March we've ever had, we finally have the sun back. Alright, so here's the biggest of the satellites. Pineapple. You can obviously see where the name comes from. Because, you know, again, I color the planets based on the way the characters look in the show. Oh, cool, we got, I think that's the first time we ever got Dr. Heinrich. Subsonic and I got there. Zurich is 0 for 2 today. Subsonic is 2 for 2. I think the bot is playing favorites here. Alright, so this one's the middle moon between the two. It's the largest one, but it's the middle one in terms of distance from Chilled. And it's also fairly large. It's considerably bigger than Ganymede and a little bit smaller than Mars. And again, I gave it some water, and I gave it a little bit of hydrogen. It's fun to give planets those little materials. There's only 4 materials you can give it. Well, there's also carbon dioxide, but it's kind of more of a covert way of giving it carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is a little bit better. 83.6% Earth similarity and 12.6% life likelihood. Obviously, when it says Earth similarity, we're not talking about the color. We're talking about the actual chemistry. And the temperature is absolutely flawless. Like, it's exactly where you want it to be. Between 11.7 degrees and 16.4 degrees. If every day could be like that, that would make me a very happy man. And it has not a great atmosphere, but a lot better than the last one, with a 29.3 kilopascal pressure. You still want to have oxygen tanks with you, but you could survive for a little while. And then without all the extra stuff, it would look like this. I actually, I made enough planets within this system to realize that the randomly generated planets are sadly not quite as many as I thought there were originally. Like, there's only so many randomly generated planets before they start making copies of themselves. Oh yeah, I didn't go that deeply into it. Maybe we'll do that for the next one. For this one, I was focused mostly on trying to stabilize the orbits and color the worlds appropriately. So as you can see, this one's currently experiencing an eclipse from one of the other satellites, I would think. Because there's Chilled right there. So it's not It's not being cast in a shadow by its planet, because the planet is over there. Maybe just one of those random moons over there is doing it. I don't know. Where was I? No, not that random moon. Not that random moon. Planet Chilled. Not really that much to look at, of course, because it's a gas planet. But, I think it's pretty. And with that, that should be the end of the King Cold system. Oh, tell them that probably would explain why there's no temperature gradient whatsoever. That would make sense. Okay, yeah, definitely look at axes next time. Alright, so the Frieza system is the most extensive. Got a pretty good asteroid belt of moons. I guess we'll take a look at moon number 66 over here. Which still have an awesome coloring. So, like, the thing is, this moon basically has no night, because on the left, we have the half of the moon that's being illuminated by Frieza, and on the right, we have the half that's being illuminated by King Cold. So, the near side, Frieza, the far side, King Cold. That's true, yeah. Ignore the temperature, like, because they default to absolute 0 for some stupid reason. So yeah, this moon here is a little bit larger than the ones for King Cold. It is 292 kilometers across, so it shouldn't be round, but it is. The ones by King Cold shouldn't be round either. And how far away is this one? 9.04 AUs. It takes 27.4 years to orbit the Frieza. Although, to be fair, I clicked on one of the outer ones. They all have their own orbits. Because, you know, it's an asteroid belt. That's what it does. Alright, anywho, onto the main planets now. We have Kui out here, which is significantly far out from the habitable zone. I think I gave it a moon Apul. Okay, so the Frieza is still naming his goons after fruits for some reason. Both of these planets I might have given a little bit too much water, because it's basically destroyed their topography, or at least what we can see of it. So this moon here is 2,066 kilometers across. Temperature negative 159, which is what you get when you're that far from the sun. 4.77 AU to be specific. Pretty far out. It is tidally locked to Kui. 203,000 kilometers out from Kui. His own Roche of 14,545, tidal heating of 628 megawatts. And again, I don't understand sometimes why water can just take over like that, because it's not really covering all that much of the planet. Like, I've seen a slightly, wait, no, actually, no, this one makes sense. Like, the takeaway is, if you have water on the surface of a rocky planet, then prepare for it to just take up almost the entire thing. If you move that dial anywhere, like anywhere past 1/100%, the whole thing is covered in water. That's what makes Europa and Enceladus kind of interesting, because that's what they are. Like, they're not rocky worlds, they're ice worlds. And with their temperatures, water actually behaves like a rock. It doesn't behave like an ice cube or a glacier even. It actually has rock properties on those super cold worlds, and I imagine this one is cool enough for that to happen too, at negative 147 or whatever it was. Alright, so not doing too well on the Earth similarity for obvious reasons. No atmosphere. That does not help. So anyway, what this world's supposed to look like is this. It still doesn't look that appealing. You win some, you lose some. Anyway, Qui. Who's technically one of the Frieza's elite, but Vegeta just ripped him to pieces with almost no effort. Oh, what's this? Huh. Okay, I guess either that's a gigantic impact basin, or this randomly generated planet was trying to recreate Antarctica. Yeah, this is a large planet with a diameter of over 11,400 kilometers, so it's not much smaller than Earth. The mass should be similar to Earth as well. Yeah, 0.696 Earth. I don't know why it defaults to kilograms when it's such a huge number. Like, to the 20, like, 10 to the, like, 6, what was the number again? The number of kilograms was 4.16 times 10 to the 24th power. Like, it's numbers that big are kind of useless because, like, it doesn't give us much of a scale. If we actually have the mass of our planet, then we have something to compare it with. So that's in a rotation period of 2.58 days, which again I'm not showing you because my computer sucks. Motion should be covered by now. Okay, this one makes a whole lot less sense because I remember a pool had 0.008% covered with water, and this one has 0.000527%. So like it has like 1/14th as much of its surface covered in water as a pool, and yet this planet's also completely frozen over. It just goes by how much raw material is there, which is bad and stupid. I wouldn't think that it would do that, but maybe it does. And yet, still there is a chance at life here. We have 44.5% Earth similarity, but 18% life likelihood. Of course, they all have to be extremophiles, no doubt. I can't imagine anything intelligent living on this planet. I need to work on the elevation span, too. Some planets need to have more topography than others. But it does have a pretty thick atmosphere. 68 Mars, which translates to about 1/3 of the Earth's atmosphere, which gives you about 1/3 of the Earth's pressure. And here's what this planet's supposed to look like. Now, this one is a hit. That last one was a miss, but this one's a hit. I think you'll agree. Like, that is a cool looking planet. Wouldn't it be great if the bedrock of our planet looked like that? Not that I'm saying that our planet isn't beautiful. It is, but that's some good bedrock. Alright, next. Oh, we do have that enabled. Okay. So Frieza actually has 2 gas planets, Taguma and Ginyu. So probably my 2 personal favorite planets that I made are Zarbon and Dodoria. They're a little bit hotter than the other ones. Why is Zarbon frozen? Why does it have a 1.41 to what? Did I do that? Well, anyway, Zarbon and Dodoria are binaries. They're what the? Okay, so half of the planet is frozen and the other half is not frozen. That makes all the sense. It's not a tidally locked planet, is it? It's not tidally locked. That'd be stupid. It's too far away to be tidally locked. No, it's not. It's not tidally locked. Like, I would say it's like daytime is. No, nighttime is liquid. Daytime is frozen. Okay. Guess there's something to be said about residual heat. But anyway, I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. So like Zarbon and Dodoria, well, like first of all, they're basically always seen together in the show. So that's why I had practically no choice but to make them binaries. You'll see how close they are in terms of size and mass. Dodoria is at 1.37 Earth masses with a radius of 7130. Zarbon, slightly denser, but mass of 2.52 Earth and a radius of 8218. So Zarbon's a little bit bigger, but you know he's supposed to be. He is a little stronger than Dodoria. So yeah, this planet here. This is where I saw night lights. But they don't appear to be there anymore. Huh. Okay. Interesting. There were nightlights. I guess the citizens of planet Dodoria decided to be more eco-friendly and turn them off. You'll notice that the rotation period and the orbital period are kind of hecked up because, you know, it's a binary system and they're so close to each other in mass. Like, they both together orbit Frieza, but in terms of, like, how they strictly move, they're orbiting each other. That's what it means to be a binary planet. We see the same thing with Pluto and Charon, of course. So we have just the right amount of water, filling up all that low continental area. Actually, if I were to compare this to anything, it looks like some of the radar pictures of Titan. And how like there's a bunch of river valleys that feed into some of the big lakes. Which are ethane, of course, not actually water, but you know. Similar pattern. So as you can see, I knocked it out of the park in terms of Earth's similarity with this planet, but somehow, despite being a near exact copy of Earth, at 97.4%, it only has a 3.86% chance of life. And like I said earlier, I'm pretty sure I saw night lights. So like, I don't know what you call that, but I call it life. So this planet actually has a bit of a wider range of temperatures. Between 70... I don't see where there's a 70-degree temperature, though. It seems like most of the planets actually had a very comfortable 29 or 28. So, like, between 25 and 30, which is very nice. And the polar regions get down into you know, around where the poles are on Earth. Which is probably why it has an Earth similarity index so high. Because the temperatures are basically spot on. Oh, that's why the life likelihood is so low, because it doesn't have much of an atmosphere. But if I were to actually scale this to Earth, then this would be practically an exact copy. But, we don't really want to do that, do we? That's kind of cheating. So anyway, if we wanted to remove the water, the planet would look like this. Alright. Now back over to Zarbon. I said Zarbon. Which again, can't seem to decide which phase of matter it wants its water to be. But I think I gave Zarbon a thicker atmosphere, which gives it a better chance at life. Okay, you'll notice here where it says impacting objects, its strongest attractor is the Frieza, because like Zarbon's slightly more massive than Dodoria, so Dodoria is not considered the primary attractor, but the orbital parent is Dodoria because its gravity still dominates over Frieza due to their proximity and them being so close together in mass. And if we look at the orbits, there you go. They don't actually circle around Frieza. They circle around each other, and they happen to be bound to Frieza as they do that. And again, that's what Pluto and Charon do all the time. And also Salacia and its moon. There's other Kuiper Belt objects out there that have that same dynamic. I accidentally triggered my phone to to put up Google Assistant. I don't want that though. So yeah, again, not too much water. At least I didn't think there was too much water. What did it do for Dodoria again? Oh. Okay, yeah, this one has a lot more water, so that's fair. Both these planets are, of course, super Earths. Yeah, this one's doing a lot better for Earth. Like, Earth similarity for both these planets is very high, obviously. This one's at 89.9. There's a couple of real planets that have better scores than that, but not a lot. And then life likelihood of 38.8 is pretty good, too. This one actually has a magnetosphere. I did not give one to Dodoria. And, okay. What? Zarbon, what are you doing? I mean, I guess that explains... I mean, that would explain the temperature swings and, like, why half the planet is frozen, half the planet is liquid. But this makes absolutely no sense. Like, why is the temperature gradient a sine curve? Temperature gradient should not be a sine curve. Half the planet is as hot as Venus, and then some of the other half of the planet is almost at absolute zero. I did not tell the planet to do this. Alright, so it gave it a mass of 2.4 times the Earth's mass. I mean, the Earth's atmosphere mass. It gave it a greenhouse effect of 15 degrees. I don't know what the heck happened here. Anyway, without all that nonsense, there's Zarbon. Alright, next. Alright, I want to save Ginyu for last because he's got the most interesting satellites. that I wish I could go into. But I can't. Okay, so Tagoma and Sorbet are the new moons. I mean, the new characters to serve the Frieza in Dragon Ball Super. Well, the new main ones, anyway. So here's Sorbet. And yes, I give Tagoma some rings. Because we gotta put rings around some of these guys. Not all of them, though. I mean, if for a character like Sorbet, I guess I'm okay with the fact that I gave it too much water and I froze it, because that's kind of what we expect for a Sorbet. So yeah, they're kind of on the outer edge of the habitable zone at 1.89 AU. This one is tidally locked to Tagoma. So Tagoma has like a bunch of different spellings of his name. There's one with the one that I think I see most often. I think it has to do with some confusion between the manga and the cartoon. Something just slips between the cracks, and they can't seem to spell his name right. I don't know. So I didn't put all that much water here, but it still did a pretty good job just dominating the whole world. So Earth Simulator... I need to stop putting my mouse over that. Y'all can't see it. Alright, Earth Simulator 56.4, which is but somehow there's a decent chance at life. I think, I could be wrong, but I think honestly that like 56.4% Earth similarity is on the order of Mercury, and yet somehow we got life likelihood. I could check that. In fact, I think I am going to check that right now. If you can bear with me. Earth similarity index. It should be one of the first things in the article. It is actually. In fact, Mercury has a higher score than this. Mercury's Earth Similarity Index is at 0.596. So 59.6% is Mercury. This one has less than Mercury. But it has a whole lot more life likelihood than Mercury, I'll tell you that much. Okay, this is possibly even more stupid. This one's trying to... Oh, wait, what? That's South America? It kind of looks like there's South America, like there's Andes Mountains over there on the left, forming shape. South America Easter egg. So we have an average temperature of negative 93.9, which is what I wanted. And apparently there's one dot here that's at 1,000 degrees. Which is making this look like one solid color, but it's really not. It's actually pretty well differentiated. But it just looks like it's not because there's one tiny little location on this planet that's 1,000 degrees. Alright, so slightly less atmosphere than the Earth, but like that's breathable. Like that pressure right there, that is breathable, so a human could survive here. Oh boy. Again, if we turn the surface materials off, this thing just totally glitches out. But you can see Sorbet again on the top right. That's the plant. That's the bedrock. We're just gonna like pretend that there's real minerals that look like that, or that could give off that kind of color. All right, Tagoma. That would be a random ring particle. I don't want to focus on an insignificant, stupid ring particle. So. But the rings are kind of nice. I don't know where that shadow's coming from. It's been it just does that. It might just be the game. Alright, so as you can see, we've got a mass of 31.8 Earths. I gave it a density of 1.33 grams per cubic centimeter. It has a radius, I think, slightly larger than Uranus. Actually, I think Uranus has a radius of like 25,500, so that's actually pretty significantly larger. It's not quite Saturn level though. Has a temperature of negative 111 degrees. It's 2.61 years to orbit Frieza. Doing a tiny little iron core, decent amount of silicates, decent water layer, and of course most of it is hydrogen because that's what you expect from a gas planet. And somehow there's a non-zero life likelihood here too. At a temperature of negative 111 degrees with 72.5% of the planet being hydrogen. You tell me! You tell me how you think there could possibly be life on this planet. Now, of course, it should be mentioned, of course, that that negative 111 warms up significantly once you go a little bit deeper into the clouds. This pressure will catch up to you and pick everything up for you. Alright, so that's Tagoma. Last planet now is Ginyu. And this one has quite an interesting story about it, because first of all, of course, if you know about the show, the Ginyu Force is the Frieza's ultimate elite soldiers here. So this planet is like right in the middle of the habitable zone, first of all. There you go. Right in the green. Second of all, I gave it rings. And third of all, because the Ginyu Force is 5 people, that means that I need to make 4 moons. How easy do you think it is to make 4 moons? Well... Oh, actually it looks nice here. But you tell me how easy it is when I press play on this thing. You see how stable these orbits are? Do you see how stable these orbits are? Like, this is the best that I could possibly do, okay? So, like, I paused time and, like, made all these moons around Ginyu at the same time. I tidally locked 3 of them. Guldo, I decided, is not going to be tidally locked. But yeah, they're all tidally locked. And I set them all up at the exact same time so they couldn't possibly affect each other while I was forming them. And the orbits still, like, go in and out like that. And then when 2 of the moons get particularly close to each other, they'll start orbiting each other while at the same time going around Ginyu, and, like, it just goes crazy. You know, kind of like how I was showing you with Zarbon and Dodoria, how they orbit each other rather than directly orbiting Frieza. Although this actually is not pulsating as wildly as it normally does, well, mainly due to the fact that, again, my computer is terrible today. Like, extra terrible. But trust me when I say that the orbits can get really wild. But unfortunately, you just have to take my word for it today. It's just not having it. I might as well start from the bottom here. Oh look, Guldo is releasing a lot of mass. Alright, so yeah. Guldo is more or less the runt of the litter. I should explain, because like in the show, he's not that great at fighting, but he does have a special power by oh cool. But he does have a special power of being able to freeze time, so he can just like trap all of his enemies in one fell swoop, and they can't really do anything about it unless, of course, there's outside influence, like Vegeta, who swoops in from behind and takes the kill. So this one is 2,276 kilometers across, orbiting 1.86 million kilometers away, although we can't really trust those figures because they're kind of crazy. You can see the eccentricity of 0.244, and even the eccentricity can reach pretty crazy fluctuations during all the orbital processes. Oh, okay, maybe I did tidally lock this one. Oh, wow. Actually, no. It rotates slower than it revolves around the planet. That's interesting. I don't know why. It does kind of add to the oddball nature of Guldo, which I'm all for. Good luck, Zurich. Hopefully you don't go 0 for 3. I actually did give a tiny bit of water to Guldo, which I guess is what's being spewed outward. Oh, there we go. You can see a couple of ponds of water. I think I gave it water, but no atmosphere. So this should be 0. It is 0. Yeah, again at 54.9%, so a little bit less Earth-like than Mercury. Decent temperature, but a little cold. It's a little on the cold side because it orbits far enough from Ginyu so that it doesn't really get the kind of warm-up from the tides that some of the other planets do. I mean, the other moons. I use the word planet very liberally. You should know that. Yeah, that's not... The turning off the surface material is not going to change much. That's Guldo. Next up is Raccoon. Who also does not have an atmosphere, so he also does not have any life. So you'll notice that the main problem, the reason why these moons are so crazy is this is the second smallest moon, and it's bigger than the Earth. I mean, these are elite soldiers, so I'm going to give them the respect they deserve, but we have a 5-body system here where 4 of them are bigger than the Earth, so that's the source of all the chaos. But I think I managed to nail it okay for like having them not crash into each other like Vegeta and Trunks and Bulma. Yeah, that was kind of a disaster. So, Raccoon, Birder, and Jace are all tidally locked. So this one's a little closer to Ginyu, so it's a little warmer. And again, the eccentricity is all over the place because this system is so unstable. It'd be kind of fun, actually, to just, like, keep placing worlds at the very edge of each other's Roche lobe and see how many moons of a moon that I can make. I said, I gave Raccoon a little bit of hydrogen because he does blow a lot of hot air. Well, he could back it up, to be fair. He's very strong, but, you know. He's pretty showy. Also, look at that Earth similarities. Somehow I managed to get Earth similarity to 90.4% despite not having any water or atmosphere. And also, there's only like a couple of places on the planet that are that are above freezing. But the average temperature is right where it should be to be Earth-like. It's just that it doesn't go too far above that. Oh, he does have an atmosphere actually, but it's not a huge one, but it's something. Yeah, I'm not expecting the removal of surface features to change much in his appearance. He looks about the way he should. All right, birder time. Birder is 1.24 times the mass of Earth. This looks about right for what Birder should look like. So getting slightly warmer, a little bit closer. Only 565,000 kilometers away. Now, Jace, I originally put much further away than it actually is, but like it seems like with extra pressure from the other satellites that Jace's orbit just keeps on getting collapsed and crushed in toward the planet. Yeah. Again, high eccentricity. So we're almost done explaining everything to you so that I can actually go on with my business of destroying everything, hopefully. Yeah, again, very good Earth similarity, but not too much life likelihood. I think this is another pretty weak atmosphere that I put up. But there is a little bit of water on it. Oh no, the atmosphere is pretty good. Well, not that good. With a pressure of 16.7 kilopascals, yeah, humans won't be able to breathe in it. It does have a nice greenhouse effect, though. This shouldn't be different. It's not really. Alright, so Jace. Yeah, I really could have made all of these planets super Earth-like. Speaking of super Earth, Jace is a super Earth with a mass of 2.52 Earth and a radius of 8457, which would be a diameter of close to 17,000 kilometers. So this is actually a super Earth, but it's orbiting Ginyu, which is right there. Now Jace is much warmer than the other ones because of its proximity. So, yeah, distance of just under 300,000 kilometers, and it was supposed to be. Yeah, see, like these, like the semi-major axis is over 380,000. Like it's supposed to be much further away than it actually is, but the whole system just kind of collapsed in on itself, literally. At least from Jace's perspective. But as long as Jace is still alive, I might as well. Oh, wait, I didn't put any water on him. I put some hydrogen. But I didn't put any water on Jace, so no life. 86. Like, I keep making these planets really close to Earth, but lacking something critical to actually have life on it. Yeah, this is a very livable world if it had any water on it. So that's a very good temperature gradient right there. And it has a pretty good atmosphere, up to 41.6 kilopascals. But not good enough. And Ginyu himself. A pretty extensive ring system. And these lovely shades of purple. Okay, well, that is the full tour of my system. Wait, how long have I been doing this? Of course I've been doing this for 110 minutes. And so I spent that long giving you a tour. Now I'm finally going to actually attempt to just destroy them all. I might as well start with cooler because there's not as much to wreck there, and also might run less. It might run a little bit better. There's less random crap being cluttered around. Oh wait, before I do this, I need to save. Because I did make a couple of changes. And this thing is public, so